This is going to be the podcast that talks through the real day-to-day, in the trenches, struggles.
Everyone thinks, oh, people got to go to therapists all the time. You should go and see a therapist, but you can be helped by so many people around you.
That's like changed the way I look at everything.
You're making up a load of shit. You're just making it up. These are utter lies that your brain is making up about the future.
I had a massive health scare in 2019.
Just want to tell the story.
The Untold podcast is proudly sponsored by Aura Surfaces, specialists in luxury surfaces for extraordinary spaces. Like creating dream homes, building a dream life takes work. That's why we had to get behind this podcast. Real stories, real challenges, and real success. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the show. I don't know why I'm saying welcome to you two. I'm more saying welcome to the people that are watching or listening. This is a new one, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, mate.
It is a new one.
This is exciting. Right, I think what we'll do, let's introduce ourselves and let's introduce each other, shall we? Go on, mate, you go first.
So I'm Ashley. I'm a business owner. I have a family and I've been through some struggles in the last 18 months, I guess. And I just want to tell the story. I want to help other people, get guests in and learn from them. And I feel between the three of us, we've all got our own story to tell. And I can't wait to kick this off.
Yeah, it's going to be massive. And who are you?
I'm Chris, just like you, mate. Pretty much the same stories, really. That's why we're all here, innit? I had a massive health scare in 2019. Gave me a bit of a kick up the arse with my thoughts and feelings and gave me a bit of a bout of anxiety, and been on TikTok for the last 14 months and just want to progress into doing something for other people rather than just myself all the time.
Yeah, nice. So this is going to be the podcast that talks through the real day-to-day, in the trenches, struggles that a person will go through as either being an employee, a business owner, an employer, and all round just getting through life with the troubles that everyone goes through, right?
Yeah.
I'd always consider myself strong with my mental health. But I've done loads and loads of work into reading it and researching it because I truly, truly believe, right, that mental health is the same as your physical health. If you're going to go to the gym to look after your physical health, you need to be aware of mental health resilience techniques to prepare yourself and give yourself tools to come over some resilience or determination for your mental health, right?
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed talking about it, but it's only these last 6 months since I started working with you, Chris, that we've realised just how many people need help in the day-to-day on this stuff, innit?
Yeah, and the weirdest thing is, right, everyone thinks, oh, people got to go to therapists all the time. You should go and see a therapist, but you can be helped by so many people around you rather than just go and pay money to speak to people. Like, for me, I trained myself mentally when I was a young teenager. I had issues with my parents, and I had to force myself to be a very strong, secure young adult instantly, and blocked all of my life out. There was never any drama for me. Nothing was a problem. And then as you get older on in life, you realise, hang on a minute, all those things I put in that box, they're slowly starting to work their way out bit by bit. And then you become this person that's actually starting to think, well, hang on a minute, maybe I do need help myself. So it's so important, really important.
Like I learned when I did, so I did a 12-week mindfulness course because I was in a point where I was never present. I was never there. The brain was constantly in fight or flight mode. And I was just like thinking the worst case scenario all the time. And I did this mindfulness course. And she sort of taught me your brain is like a muscle. And you have to train it to switch off. Yeah, the thoughts come in. And she explained it like clouds. Now, whether you're into all this or not, it really fucking helped me.
Yeah.
And now I can sort of switch off. Okay, I acknowledge the thought. I acknowledge that is a possibility. Chances are it's not going to happen. But what can I do now to avoid that being the eventuality? And that's massive. That's like changed the way I look at everything, from bills to relationships to all sorts of different things. Yes, it might happen, but what can I put in place today for that to not happen?
Yeah.
Acknowledge it, work with it, and then let it go.
Yeah.
Instead of dwelling on it and being like, oh my God, my whole life's going to come crashing down. And that's the thing. We will have all had it, and people watching it would have had it. And I guarantee you, if you look back now, all those things that you thought were going to end you, were going to be the end of everything, they never actually came to fruition. Just in your head they did.
Exactly right.
Sorry, that's the anxiety word, isn't it?
It is.
That's where anxiety comes from. You fear what's going to happen to you all the time, but that thing never really happens. And then that anxiety was a waste of time. But obviously, people deal with it so bad. I've had it. I thought I said before to you, Des, that anxiety I always used to think was just a bit of a joke. You know, oh, you've got anxiety. What's wrong with you? Sort yourself out. But then you have it yourself. All of a sudden, you think, well, actually, it's a real problem.
And in the old days, you'd just be called a worrier, wouldn't you? But what it really is, when you break it down, one of the things that I learned over the last few years is when you worry, you're making up a load of shit. You're just making it up. These are utter lies that your brain is making up about the future. So if you're going to make up negative shit, why don't you just flip it and make up positive shit?
Yeah.
And see how much that implements you. Now, that's easier said than done, right? And this is what I love about what we're doing. Because everyone that talks about mindset, it always gets nailed down to a really basic denomination of, well, just change the way you think and it will change your feelings. Fuck off. It's not, if you change your feelings, it might change the way you think. It works both ways. It's a two-way street, right? That's what drives me mad.
But you can't put too much pressure on yourself. It's like it's a 1 foot forward every day. And if some days you're going to have a bad day, some days you're going to have a good day. It's like looking back and being, oh, okay, yeah, but hold on. That was a bad day. Tomorrow's another day. And I always say it to my wife, I've got like nothing in the tank today. I can't be asked. I just want to crawl in my bed and go to sleep. But tomorrow is a new day.
Yeah.
And you sort of, I don't know, I sort of managed to, okay, I'll live by that now. Tomorrow is a new day. As long as I put 1 foot forward tomorrow and don't keep stepping back, whether it's anything, like, do you know what I mean? Go forward every single day.
Was there ever a time that you weren't even sharing that with your other half? Was there a time where you weren't even telling her?
God, yeah. I said
Shame, didn't you?
I said to her the other day, I rang her, I said, look, we're doing this podcast. There's some things that might come out that I've not told you. And she sort of had the ump with me. And I said, yeah, but it's not, do you know what I mean? It was never that dark, but in my head it was.
Yeah.
So I think, and by the way, we are by no means professionals.
Oh my God, no.
So we think the disclaimer there, we're by no means professionals, but we've all been through stuff.
Yeah. I think it's important that we're not professionals.
Yeah.
And we should mention it is not just going to be all Debbie Downer and
No,
just
no.
mentioning about your mental health. We're going to have a proper laugh on here as well.
Yeah, we are.
I think the three of us will get a lot from this as well, to be fair. It's kind of a free therapy session for the three of us as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's exactly what's happened with me. So I started making money online and I knew I needed a community to help me do it for my own accountability. But before you knew it, I kind of fell into this, not a counsellor, but I turned into almost like a life coach for people that were going through it and were struggling with parenting, day job hours, habits and all that crap. And then before you know it, I'm talking daily about this stuff. And I realised there is so much that is unsaid. This is why we're on Untold in here, right? Yeah. And when you're in the trenches, everyone comes up with mindset buzzwords and mindset phrases, but they always do it in a way that's fucking mood hoovering, where they just, the mentors, aren't they? They suck the joy out of the room.
I said that to my missus this morning. I was talking about someone this morning. I said, oh, she's such a mood hoover. She went, where have you got that from? You've never used that word. I was like, I have. I've used it loads of times.
I say it all the time. Yeah, mood hoovers drive me mad. So we're going to do it in a way that, yeah, we talk about who you were, but we're more focused on who you are and who you're going to be, right?
Yeah. And how you've got there. And how you've got from where you was to where you are. And how the listeners can get from where they are to how they are. That's the biggest thing for me, is to, if I can share what I've been through to where I am now and the good and the bad. And that's my biggest thing for this, like I said to you both, is it's got to be unfiltered. There's no filters here. It's how it is.
Yeah.
And I think if we can help one person, because it's difficult to get help. It is so difficult to get help. You go to your doctors, now I'll take some tablets, you'll be fine. But that's not I don't feel.
Just papering over the cracks, isn't it?
There's a lot of people that...
You're not treating the problem, you're treating the symptoms.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that's fine. Like, but my opinion is my opinion. I'm not scared to say it. I feel that by going to the GP and the GP's just saying, hey, take these tablets, you'll feel better. Oh, you don't feel better? Let's up your dose. Oh, you still don't feel, let's up your dose. Then you're like hooked. Oh, you want to come off of them? Oh, it's going to take you 6 months to drop down. Now, for some people, they might need that in the interim.
Yes, it might be a chemical imbalance.
I believe that it's got to come from within. Depression, anxiety. Now, I didn't believe until I had it. I thought, but what are you talking about? Like, a bit like you said, what are you talking about? Anxiety. What do you mean you don't want to leave the house, you don't want to go out? And then it hit me one day and I was like, okay, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. And people, I'll go and see the GP and I was like, no, I'm like and I did the mindfulness course and it all came, everything I rang my friend's mum, who was a mindfulness coach at the time. And I rang her, I said, look, Debbie, I said, how can you help me? And she said, oh, funny you should say that. I'm doing a tasting seminar tonight, 10 minutes down the road from you, come along. And I went along and I was like, wow, this is powerful. This is really powerful. And they do things like get you to put a raisin in your mouth, but like feel the raisin, feel it, roll it around your mouth for 10 minutes. Now, anybody would think that's weird, but next time you eat something, do it a bit mindfully, do it a bit and be present when you do it. Switch everything
I'm not doing
off.
this with a sausage.
I'll do it on my own when I'm eating at McDonald's.
But like they said, even like driving, we're all driving and we're all like, right, we're going from point A to B, but you've got beautiful countryside. Now, don't look too much because you might hit the car in front of you. However, take a look around, be a bit more present. And it really does help. Like, my biggest thing was about 4 years ago now. My mum said, right, this might be the last year we can do it. We're going to I'm going to take some money out of my pension. We're all going to go skiing at Christmas. This lovely cabin, everything was perfect. Apart from that, I wasn't there. I'd go out on my own in the day and I'd just be like on the chairlift crying. Like, what is wrong with me? Listening to podcasts, and that's when everything clicked then. Everything clicked. I was like, something's not right. What is it? Like, let's get to the root cause. What is it? I'm at this once in a life opportunity. I've got my family, my whole family, my kids, everybody around me. And I was like, what am I doing?
And what was it?
It was stress from business. And it was that whole fight or flight thing. I couldn't be present because I was convinced that in 3 weeks' time after Christmas was over and the doors opened again after Christmas, that there would be bills and debt and bills and everything, and I had no money to pay for it. And that consumed me. It proper consumed me. Actually, every time I talk about this, I get a bit welled up inside because I hate myself for it. I hate myself for doing that and not enjoying. It was probably the last time that we would get to go away skiing as a family, something that I was privileged enough to do as a kid. And I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. That sounds wrong, but I wasn't there. I wasn't present. I didn't enjoy it how I should have enjoyed it because my brain was constantly telling me, was like focusing on what might happen in 3 weeks, not you're so lucky to be here.
Yeah.
And I used to I have to hold my hands up to it. I used to have a real victim mentality. Oh, the government have done this. They put taxes up, this. Oh my God, that's going to affect me. And then someone said to me, and on this, a lot of courses and business courses I've been on, they said, focus on what you can control. You can't control the government. You can't control the taxes. You can't. But what can you control?
Yeah.
Live in your own bubble and control what you can.
That's such a powerful statement. Easier said than done.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it also flips, doesn't it? Because if you think about it as well, there's this such pressure on all of us to be happy, to be the best version of you. So it's no wonder that when you feel anything less than perfect, you get ashamed of it.
Yeah.
So now you're automatically, justifiably looking back thinking, I should have been happier that whole time. But next time you go, you're probably subconsciously going to put so much pressure on yourself to be happy.
Yeah.
It could be damaging as well. It's such a fine bleeding line, isn't it?
Yeah, you said a minute ago you hated yourself for like feeling like that, but at the end of the day, you didn't go down the wrong road, did you? You should be proud of what you did rather than hating yourself because you actually made that effort to go and see somebody and sort yourself out.
Yeah, right.
And that's it. And it's so, talking is so big. Some people, they don't feel like they have people to talk to, but like there are people that will listen. There are people that will talk. That advert, I can't remember what it was. One of the adverts on telly where they're at the football stadium. Do you see it?
Yeah.
The guy was.
Yeah. Oh my God! What a video that was.
Yeah. And you all think that guy's the one that's doing all right, but it's not. It's really easy to mask things.
Yeah. That's kind of how I got through life. When I went to therapy the second time, and there was nothing wrong with me. It was just that I felt I was putting a block on myself when I wanted to make more money. I felt like the working class, proud to be skint geezer within me was stopping me from becoming wealthy, something that I've always thought that I hated.
Yeah.
And she said, there's nothing actually wrong with you. And I said, no, but I want the tools for when something that does come, I can take care of it.
Yeah.
But when we started unpicking stuff, we started basically talking about how I deflected my whole life. This persona, that I've always been the loud, gobby one that can hold a conversation and do all this stuff. But I was using it as a distraction that no one really found out who I was. And it was only when I started sharing who I actually was that things actually started taking off for me. So
It's yeah. So I've obviously in my business, I was fortunate enough to meet a guy who said get on the camera. So I got on the camera, and I remember doing the first few videos, and I used to pretend to be someone I wasn't, and it used to be really forced. It used to be really like, and I was like, hold on a minute. Let's try being myself and stop putting pressure on myself. You don't need to be perfect on camera. And there's a lot of people that would be like, I couldn't possibly get in front of them. And I speak to business owners, I couldn't get in front of the camera. But how are you going to tell your story? How are you going to tell your story if you won't get on camera? With it being the biggest way to promote business, to promote everything, to promote charity is short form content. And you've got to be yourself.